See, when I do my show, no matter where I am, and I do this with every single election. It's what Carson used to do. Leno did it a few times, where I would say, okay, we're going to vote now, and kind of be able to predict what the election is going to be. And Carson would do that, and they would get. It's a big chunk of Americana going through the audiences of the Tonight Show, and he would kind of be able to predict who was going to win the election. And so I do the same thing in my show now, and it was crazy. When it was Trump and Hillary, it was almost always about 60-40, 70-30 towards Trump, right? So then the next election comes along.
It's so interesting. We kind of do something similar with street interviews, but that's you have big rooms filled with all sorts of people coming to see you.
And these are shows that are 5, 6, 8, 9, 10,000 people.
For sure.
And so, and maybe my crowd leans a little bit to the right, but this year there wasn't even a contest. It was like, it's the same. My same audiences, same people show up. So it was literally like 5% Democrat, 95%, and the roof would come off the place. So on all the polls that were out, I'm like, I don't know if these polls are accurate. I really don't know if they are or not, because my audiences are telling me something completely different.
Well, that's super interesting, because you have a pool of people that you're able to gauge that off of, and you're in cities all across the United States. That's a pretty good way to test the, check the temperature.
Oh, this is in the Northeast, in the Northwest, in the South, in the middle of the country, in the flyover states. It was everywhere, and it was the same results.
Do you ever gauge like your show? Do you ever change the jokes depending on the audience that you're getting there?
No. As a matter of fact, I don't. Here's how small the world is. This has nothing to do with anything, but I have a character, Ahmed the Dead Terrorist, right? So people think, that's controversial right now. Can you really still do that? People know who he is. It's not a threat. I'm not making fun of anybody's religion. I was doing a world tour, and they booked me in Abu Dhabi.
Okay.
Heavily, it's Muslim, right? And I was scared to death. I thought, what am I going to do here? But this shows me how great the world actually is. 4,000 people there, sold out, most of them Muslims, guys in the dish dash, the women there. I brought Ahmed out, and they thought he was, it was like a homecoming. It was great. They thought it was great. 2 nights later, I'm in the middle of Tel Aviv, Israel, doing the exact same show for 4,000 Jewish people. They thought Ahmed was great. That was their favorite character. I didn't change one word.
Right.
So to me, it's like, I feel like the world is filled with mainly good people that all want to get along, and it's the handful of idiots that are ruining it for the rest of us.
Right.
That's what I feel like. Again, I get to see the world through rose-colored glasses because it's all comedy, but people are there to laugh and they have a great time.
Well, it's super interesting. I mean, you're obviously in comedy. Wokeness seems to kind of have been the antithesis of that over the last handful of years. And a lot of people it seems like a lot of people wholeheartedly reject that, because you have a lot of the massive comedians that are just like, you know what? I'm going to make my jokes. If you don't like them, you can walk out. And there might be one person, but everyone else, all types of people, are going to sit here, have fun, and laugh at each other.
Right.
And laugh at the jokes.
Right. And for somebody that's pre-sold, they're actually paying to see that comedian. It's a little bit easier because that's usually your audience, and they're going to go along with whatever you say or you do. I would hate to be a comic just coming up that nobody knows, and they're there to be at the comedy club and not to see that person, and it's a lot more difficult. But and it's a good feeling right now to feel like it's being lifted. I feel like I can say Merry Christmas now. I can say Happy Hanukkah. I can say Happy Kwanzaa, but I can say Merry Christmas and everybody's okay with it. Most people are, and I think that's really nice right now.
Right.
So I do feel like the wokeness is hopefully going away, because it was no fun being a comic for a while there. And it seems like you say, like now it's okay. If you don't like the jokes, don't buy the tickets, don't come to the show.
Right.
And by the way, my tour was called, and this is what it was. It's still not canceled. It's different now. We have a different tour coming up.
Which one do you? Is that public? Is that public? Can you shout that out on that? Or?
Oh, sure, but I don't know when this is going to drop. But on this coming Tuesday, the 19th, my new Christmas special is going to be on Amazon Prime.
Let's go.
Yeah, there you go. So it's Jeff Dunham Scrooged-Up holiday special.
That's amazing. We'll make sure to promote that. This will be on X, YouTube, all over the place. So we'll make sure to get that out as well. But anybody in your own life that was disappointed with the results, as for you maybe look at it as wokeness dying. Perhaps that's a benefit. Maybe you don't like Donald Trump. Maybe you like him. How do you feel about it personally, I guess?
Well, I think it's sad when, on the talk shows, what was it on? Was it on The View? I can't remember which it was, or CNN, where they said they had the psychologist on there saying,
I think that was MSNBC, might have been CNN.
I don't remember. Yeah. Okay, whatever you say. But saying, if you have family members that you disagree with that like Trump and you don't like them, well, then just don't go. Just don't get together over the holidays. It's the worst advice in the world. It's like we all need to learn to have differing views and still get along and still have a conversation. So, Did I like what happened in the election? Are you talking personally or professionally? Professionally, just so long there's somebody in office that I can make fun of. That's all I care about.
There's a lot of material with Donald Trump.
Yeah, but okay, now that's an interesting point though.
Yeah.
So the landslide win. So how do you? When it was a little bit easier when the love wasn't there as much as it is seemingly now, overwhelmingly. So it's like you still make fun of who's in office and what's going on, but now it's a little bit different because 75 million votes. Right. It's like
more than that now. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot of people out there that they want to hear good comedy, but at the same time, as a good comedian, you go, how far can I go without ticking off too much of the crowd?
Well, I think when it comes to the modern day right, I think you're getting mixed groups of independent voters. You're getting maybe disenfranchised ex-Democrats. You're getting Republicans. Obviously, you're getting conservative Republicans. It's a pretty diverse group. And look no further than like RFK Jr. hopping on board with Donald Trump, Elon Musk hopping on board. And I personally see that group as being more open to being made fun of. Donald Trump is one of those people that a lot of people can tease about, and people love it. And I've even heard that Donald Trump's team and Donald Trump himself loves it. People make fun of the orange, the hair, all of that.
During the last election, not this one, so 2020, my character Walter would dress up like Trump, and we called him Grump, right? And so in one of the bits that we did for YouTube, we made up a name, and Walter, as Grump, called him Joe Biden, right? Because he was in the basement instead of Joe Biden, called him Joe Biden, right? 15 minutes after we put that video on YouTube, Donald Trump came out and said, I have a new name for Joe Biden, it's Joe Biden. I'm like, Trump just stole my joke. He flat out stole my joke. And we did a few more things about Trump, and I actually got a couple
There's
of...
probably someone on his team that told him about it. He's like, that's so genius.
Of course, yeah, somebody told him. But what I was going to say was one of his sons either emailed or texted me a couple of times saying, we love what you're doing, keep it up, even Dad likes it. So I'm like, I didn't know if that was a compliment or a threat. I wasn't sure.
No, I mean, I've heard this a handful of times from people that they really enjoy those jokes.
Right.
And so I think the base also enjoys them as well. So I think for comedy, as for the next 4 years,
it's going to be great.
It's looking pretty good.
It's going to be fun. But at the same time, as a good comedian, you know how far you can push and what you can say. There's always good fun, and that's what was so great about the old late-night comedians, is they would make fun of both sides, but it was always good-natured humor, and everyone would laugh at it. Something happened in the last few years, and the late-night guys started getting mean and started picking sides and calling the other sides idiots.
What do you think it is? Just putting activism before comedy?
I guess. I don't know. Business-wise, it's the dumbest move on the planet because you're losing half your crowd.
For sure.
But I don't get it. It's like, we didn't hire you to tell us how you think and how you're going to vote and how you think we should. It's like I get up on stage every night and I say, shut up and dance, shut up and act, shut up and sing. We don't care what you think. Just do your thing and we'll figure out the politics ourselves. That's kind of the way I see it.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for your time, Jeff. I really
No problem.
appreciate you. You're wonderful. And
right.
you with the family today, cruising around? Or?